be reached. A developing story right there. Kevin Ogutu, a man on the ground, will be giving us more details as and when he gets them here on KTN News. Now, to matters politics, where Deputy President William Ruto's conspicuous absence at the COVID conference has sparked a fierce debate. Ruto had been listed on the program and tasked to welcome President Uhuru Kenyatta for his address. And as Murimi Mwangi reports, Ruto is said to have spent the entire day at his current office instead.
The entire government, led by President Uhuru Kenyatta, convened at the Kenyatta International Conference Center. The seriousness of the meeting to review measures instituted to contain the COVID-19 pandemic could not have been ignored. But one man was conspicuously missing in action: Deputy President William Ruto. According to the official program, Ruto was to not only receive the president alongside former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, but the deputy president had, according to the program, also been tasked to make his address and invite the president for closing remarks. Upon arrival at 2:20 p.m., President Kenyatta was received by members of his cabinet and Odinga and stayed through the day-long conference. Also in attendance were ANC party leader Musalia Mudavadi, Chief Justice David Maraga, speakers of the two parliamentary chambers, and all members of the Senate and National Assembly House leadership. KTN News has learned that the Deputy President spent the entire day at his current office. His communication office could not confirm whether he had received an official invite to the function, which was organized and managed by State House. Earlier this year, Ruto sought to clarify his conspicuous absence from a series of meetings at State House relating to the COVID-19 pandemic, where the president routinely met Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukur Yatani, his health counterpart Mutahi Kagwe, and Interior's Fred Matiang'i at the initial ratification of cautionary financial measures following the pandemic.
The president and his deputy cannot travel in the same equipment at any one time. And in a situation like this, I think the answer to that question may help you understand.
And with the 2022 campaigns already at a fever pitch, Ruto has been among key leaders crisscrossing the country as public rallies made a gradual comeback, with some of his allies most outspoken ridiculing the alleged seriousness of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Hawa ni watu ambao wamejipanga na wanataka kutupora kama walivyotupora pesa za corona. So unaona baada ya kuwa exposed, sasa corona imeisha.
We thank Kenyans, but it is we, the political class especially, that is leading the charge in defying laid down protocol. So hii ugonjwa ikiendelea kusambaza, tujiangalie sisi wenyewe mbele ya tuanze kuangalia wananchi.
And with the easing of the COVID-19 restrictions,
Launching the BBI.
The country certainly gears up for the return of political campaigns as the president prepares to unveil the final version of the Building Bridges Initiative report, set to be a key talking point on the 2022 polls. Murimi Mwangi, KTN News.
So Ruto was missing in action during Monday's COVID-19 conference. This has caused a lot of political uproar within political members of parliament who are actually allied to the DP and also those allied to President Uhuru Kenyatta. So now let's bring in Gabriel Mudhuma, political analyst. Thank you so much, Mr. Mudhuma, for talking to us here on KTN News Center. So the absence of the DP during the COVID-19 conference, was it deliberate? Or was it that the DP was not officially or formally invited for that meeting?
Good morning, Linda, and thanks for having me. Well, you know, that's the question that actually has been grabbing many political analysts and pundits, trying to actually answer the very same question that you are asking. Was he invited or did he just give the COVID conference a wide berth? We won't know that because we don't understand the intricacies that are going on. Up until we see, a communique or, a communication that came from, the people that were arranging the meeting, having invited him to that particular conference. So if we are not going to see that kind of communication, then, we will assume probably he was not invited. But now this is super speculation. From one end, you'll hear he was invited. From another end, you'll hear he was not invited. So, it's not something that you can just come and say, oh, he gave it a white path. Probably he wasn't invited. And if he was invited, what are the reasons as to why he never showed up to that meeting? So I think here we really need to be very careful with the kind of speculation that we bring into the fore. But you can tell, Linda, from where we are seated, there is quite a lot of intricacies. I was just watching two people from two divides, one who's actually quite close and allied to the deputy president, and the other one who is allied actually to the Mlengo that they're calling now Tanga and Kieleweke. And both of them were in total disagreement. Actually, it was almost a shouting match. One saying he was not invited, the other one was saying he was invited. So until we get a concrete communication that we are able to verify that he was invited or not, then that is the only time we can be able to, to produce an answer that is actually, that is just. To this debate. But then again, it was an important conference. It brought out some of the things that we've been able to do as a country, and probably where we are, heading in the next months to come. So, was it a conference that he ought not to have missed? I would actually bet, in all goodwill, I think this is one conference that the deputy president should have attended.
Muthuma, you're talking to Brenda and not Linda. This slight correction there. But then, it's okay, it's understandable. But then, Muthuma, this is not the first time that the DP has missed some meetings that the president has attended. Let me just mention a few. You remember that time when the president was meeting the Council of Governors, especially the chairperson, and also the Prime Minister, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga was in attendance, but the DP was not there. Also, when the president has been giving the nation address when it comes to COVID-19, the DP has never been in the public to be seen with the president. And so why is this causing a lot of uproar? Yet, in other incidences, the DP has been missing. No question has been raised.
Again, another correct observation. I also observed the very same thing. There are so many meetings that the deputy president has not been invited, or so we are told. There are so many meetings that have happened which he wasn't present. So again, it goes on to, ask the very same question that you're asking. Why this one? Why in particular this one? So again, we go back to the intricacies of politics. Could there be, just the other day, we had somebody who is quite allied to the machinery who was saying that we no longer have, a deputy president, and his role has actually been taken by somebody else. Could this be what is happening? The intrigues, Brenda, that I call the intrigues of politics. And most of the time when we start pushing ourselves into that corner to start thinking of meetings, who was invited, who was not invited, what were their role, what were they supposed to do, and we still cannot, come up with a good answer as to why their presence was needed or not, then I think we start losing the bigger picture. But you are correct. You are right. I would also want to know, why was he not invited on those many other meetings? And this one, he was actually mandated to come. So I think, there's some. I tried to look more at the leadership of the country, and if the president had did not give a care, why would other people who seemingly seem to be getting or taking this thing very with a lot of gusto feel that this should have been it, yet they cannot explain why the other meeting he was not invited.
So is the DP doing this deliberately?
Well, that's the other question that must ask. Was he invited? For us to answer that, we must ask for sure he was invited, which he did not show up. Could he be doing this deliberately also? All right? It could be. It could be. What if there was a communication? What if he was invited and he chose, forget, I've not been invited for the past 10 or so meetings. Why am I coming to this one? Could he be jilted to that extent? And at this point, yes, given what has gone on in the past, probably he also gave it a white bath. He said, kwani pia mimi sina kazi ya kufanya. You know, it's starting to play, the intrigues of politics are starting to come out. And Brenda, I am just worried if we continue with this, if we are not, if we are not going to find a solution to bring this house in order, then we are going to lose a lot. The reason why I'm saying we are going to lose a lot, we are in the middle of a, we are in a situation whereby you can see the unemployment is really going up. You're looking at so many industries that are going to be affected. If we don't get a solution, if we don't marinate our ideas, then we are going to lose, and we are going to lose big.
All right. So, Mudhuma, but then it begs the question how the Deputy President, William Ruto, is different from other Deputy Presidents who've been in office before him, because the previous DPs seemed to be a bit very close to the presidents and probably now start politicking towards the electioneering period. But yet, at this point, we've seen several political pundits, including yourself, and also other politicians, members of parliament, saying that the DP is playing the 2022 politics at an early stage. So how different is he from other DPs who've been there before?
Well, Brenda, to begin with, the Constitution. Back in the day, it's the president who used to appoint the vice president, if you will. And at that time, it is the president who would pick, and he would, we saw Moi, and the late President Moi, how he, worked that arena with both the late Professor George Saitoti and the former President Moi Kibaki. And you may remember that at that time, the Constitution allowed him, to pick and, to really fire. This new constitution does not give you that platform. Once you are elected into office with your deputy president, it does not give you that constitutional mandate to be able to fire him.
Right.
So I think that also brings in another caliber of some element of what we were elected together. We came in one ticket. So here and there you can be able to work things around.
Right.
But having said that, we must also be alive to this very fact that at the end of the day, two things must suffice. This is an office that is funded by the taxpayer. This is an office that is constitutionally, let me use that word, that is constitutionally grounded. So until you are able to come together for a common cause, there's going to be problems. Right. There's going to be pain. Because imagine you are going to be in office, in one presidency with someone you are not seeing eye to eye with. It is the very same thing, Brenda, we are seeing at the county level, where governors and deputy governors are not able to come together for a common cause. And that's why I'm saying it is actually a tragedy that we have a constitution that have allowed us to have offices that when they come together, they are able to do more.
All right.
All right?
All right.
But when you start moving separately, Brenda,
all right,
you cannot fire this person. It's almost like a forced marriage that you cannot walk out.
Thank you.
So really, this brings another set of confusion.
All right, Mudhuma.
Because you have to wait it out until the end of your term.
All right, allow me to bring this conversation to an end. Gabriel Mudhuma, political analyst. Thank you so much for talking to us about, the political intrigues that are playing out right now within the Jubilee Party and also the absence of the DP on Monday at the COVID-19 conference. Allow me to take a short break. I'll be right back with more news making the headlines during the second hour.